Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out with Shane McGuigan, just across the road from your gym in Wandsworth Town. Shane, how you doing?
Good, thank you, Danny. Appreciate you coming along.
Always a pleasure to see you and to see Luke, of course. Massive fight for Luke next week against Vasiliy Lomachenko. Although, obviously, you always put the fighters first and it's about them. Where does this rank in terms of big events and big fights that you've been involved in your career?
I feel like it's probably going to come down to being the biggest fight that I've been involved in. I've had pay-per-view fights with obviously Hayward. There's lots of media around. I've had unification fights with Frampton on going out to America, and then obviously fights with George Groves and Josh Taylor, both world champions of mine. But this feels like it's the biggest because we're boxing the pound for pound best fighter in the world. It feels like the biggest hurdle for us, well, for me to overcome as a trainer. So it's great because it gives me the opportunity to work with an Olympic gold medalist that everyone's writing off and prove a lot of people wrong.
And against another Olympic gold medalist, of course, in Lomachenko, two-time. Yeah. How inspiring is it for you to get the opportunity to kind of work out a way to beat this guy that so many rank as the pound-for-pound number one?
Yeah, it's great to get the opportunity, but it's also a huge task because nobody's obviously Salido got the victory against him, but it was a weight advantage that he used his attributes. But for instance, Salido did a few things that unsettled Lomachenko. He hit him low, but he also worked the body really well, pushed him back. And if you like, I've looked at a lot of tape. I've looked at Pedraza. I've looked at Gary Russell Jr. And I've done lots of research on Lomachenko. I've watched a lot of his WSB amateur fights as well. The final, for instance, so, people can get success against him, and just making sure that we're preparing for everything he's going to potentially bring to the table. Obviously, he's a box of tricks, and when you're in there, it's obviously a different story. But we couldn't have had better preparations than sparring Josh Taylor. He's a world champion in the weight division above. He's a pressure fighter. That's a southpaw. He's very comfortable when he's pushing you back. There's lots of things that Josh Taylor does that are very similar to Lomachenko, and we needed to just get the best quality sparring possible, and we've got that in Josh, and we've also got that in some amateur kids that have come down. We've got Alfie Price that's come down. We've got a couple of other real former GB fighters as well that have come down and done some work. So we've done our utmost to prepare for this guy, and we've got a game plan that we're not going to give away, but we know that we're going to have to adapt halfway through, to whatever he brings to the table, because so you get stuck in a rhythm with him, and that's when he becomes not unstoppable, but that's when he becomes at his best, and he starts figuring people out as the fights get on. He gets better as the rounds go on, but if you look at Luke Campbell against Linares, he did the same thing. He started coming on really as the rounds went on, so Luke gets better as time as well. So I'm really excited for it.
You said upstairs that you think Luke's punching power will be crucial in this fight. How does he compare to other guys you've had under your charge and taken on the pads and so on in terms of pound for pound power?
He's very, very heavy-handed, very, very powerful. And everyone punches different. Certain people generate power in close, other people at length. And like George was a phenomenal puncher. And I think Luke's a phenomenal puncher as well. Someone like Josh Taylor generates a lot of his power up close. He's really, really effective there. He can also punch at distance as well, but it's just everyone's got different power. But I think he's definitely up there with probably one of the most powerful fighters I've worked with.
Have you just been kind of fortunate that all these really powerful guys come under your care, or do you work specifically on generating more power from the guys that come to you?
Well, I feel like when I start working with fighters, a lot of them do say, "Oh, well, I feel like I'm punching a lot harder." So the way I coach it is not based solely on power, but power is a big asset towards a boxer. They need to be able to use that and believe in it as well. So that's why I talk about it a lot, because it's like you need to believe that you can knock these people out, and that's And with that, they punch with the right intent. And then when they hit the pads, they don't hit the pads to just go through the motions. They hit the pads to deliver the shot all the time, deliver with full speed, full power. And that's just doing it repetition. And I definitely train that way. But also I can work with guys that have punching power, and a lot of them don't know how to control it. A lot of people heavy-handed, they blow out because they just go they start whacking away, and they land a shot and they might hurt somebody. Then they just don't know how to place the next phase. And if you look at Groves, for instance, he paced himself a lot better once he started working with me. He sort of learnt his body a little bit better, and that's one of the ways I like to train.
This would be, I believe, your fourth world title or world championship win, I guess, as a trainer. Do you think about those kind of individual accomplishments? And if so, is there any sort of target in your mind?
No, not really. I mean, I just really enjoy the process. With Luke, for instance, it feels like I'm the guy that helps to rebuild people. It was like Hay came to me too late, but he didn't really need rebuilding, but George needed rebuilding, and Luke's come to me at this time as well. But I enjoy working with people that are written off, and he's not that good, because I've not been fortunate to get a load of GB boxes coming off them. If you're in that system, you get handed, you can pick and choose which ones you want to work with and which ones you don't want to work with. And I like to be able to work with people that I can. As I said, he's not that good, or people sort of semi-write them off at a top level, and then we can get them over the hurdle. That's the most satisfying for me. So I've worked with Josh Taylor since his first fight, and he's world champion, and that's like a huge achievement. But if he'd have been working with somebody else and got beaten and come to me, it's a nice feeling when you help people get past that challenge or that little hurdle that they need to get over to achieve their goals, and that's what I want to do with Luke. His mindset, his goal is to become a world champion, and we're going to do it.
You said about the top amateurs picking and choosing. It's a testament to you in a way that you've got 3 former top GB amateur reps in the stable at the moment in Okoli, Taylor and Campbell, of course. So they've made the choice later in their careers perhaps to come to you.
Because when they're in that system, they don't get told to go with me or Gallagher or Booth. They get told to go with certain other people, and they have to sometimes learn the hard way that you go, all right, well, I need to go to these guys because they need to listen to their gut and try and look out for number one, because that's really important. But yeah, it is testament to me to get these guys, and I've got 3 guys that have been in the system, but they're all different styles. Like Taylor's a pressure fighter, Coley's a long rangy guy, and Luke's a bit more of a sort of counter puncher. So it's just different challenges all the time. I need to engage my brain, and that's what makes that's why I enjoy my job so much. It's because everyone's different, and having to work with different people.